Hello and welcome to the ServiceTracker support user video series. This video covers creating tasks, events and actions. Tasks, events and actions are all types of activities within ServiceTracker. The activity types are used for different purposes, and this video will show you how and when to use each one. Let's first begin with explaining the differences between each activity type. Tasks and events are activities within ServiceTracker which can be linked to all records, for example against the client site, a contract or a schedule. They do not appear in the mobile device, neither can they be assigned to clients for them to action or appear in the client portal. Tasks are activities that are not scheduled for a specific time. They have due dates, but they are not date dependent and will remain outstanding until physically closed or complete. Client phone calls, email correspondence should all be logged directly against the client as tasks. This will allow everyone to see the communication trail, but also allow for reporting and other key metrics. Events are designed for calendar-specific activities. This could include meetings where multiple people could be invited, for example a sales meeting. However, they are more importantly used against resources for all non-productive timesheeting, recording holiday, sickness, training, meetings, etc. These will also appear within the calendar in ServiceTracker, giving a complete view of a resource timeline. Unlike tasks, events would automatically close when the date time has passed, similar to Microsoft Outlook, without the need to change the status. Actions are activities that specifically relate to a visit or inspection. Actions can be created by the office, the client or the technician via the mobile whilst they are still on site. An action can be assigned to a client for completion via the customer portal, to a technician to carry out additional works as part of the visit, or to the office if an administration action is required following a visit. If the activity is not related to a visit or inspection, then tasks should be used instead. So let's begin by creating a task. The type of task I think we're going to create is going to be a phone call. So it's going to be a client specific phone call. So as if the client has phoned us up, we want to log that information against the client. You'll notice on my homepage that I can have access to my tasks and calendars. We'd recommend that you log the tasks and the events against the individual elements, so you open it up. So in this instance we're going to go and find the client outdoor adventure. If we look at the screen as well, if you look around you'll see recent items, so outdoor adventure were the ones that I created recently, so I could click on that and access them. Again, it's down here, it's recommended because it was one I was working on. Usually I've been clicking on the client and finding the client, but again just to show that you can do the same in the search box, so we're going to put outdoor adventure in here and they will appear. So under the search should bring us straight to the client screen. So if we scroll down now, you'll see a section called open activities, and here we can create a new task, so we'll click on new task. So we're now in the new task home screen. As you can see, some information already been pre-populated. The assigned to has been populated with the person who creates it. You can assign it to someone else if you want to by simply clicking and changing it and selecting another user. You'll also notice that the related to has been pre-populated because we added the task at the client level, so it's been populated for us. We can also update to the to put in the actual contact who is on site. So here we know there is Joe Blogs. So we're going to say Joe Blogs is the one that called, so there you go, that's Joe Blogs. You can see the subject is selecting the type of task this is, so this is a call, okay, and we can put in the date, and the comment is Joe called to ask when is the next visit scheduled. And we pass that information on, so we were just giving her an update really. And then you can set status, so we can select if it's in progress, if it's complete, waiting on someone else. In this instance we supply Joe with the relevant information, so it's complete, and you can also set a priority on that. You can also select if you want to create a recurring task, so you can do that, and you can also select reminders if you like. We don't need to do any of that, we can simply press save. You'll notice you can add attachments if you'd like to add attachments as well, and you can also do a spelling check. So we're just going to save that. So we can scroll down and see the action, but if you look along the top here, you can also just hover over and you'll see that in the activity history you'll see there's the call, so we can click on that and it will take us down to the bottom as well, instead of scrolling down. If it was still open, it would appear in the open section. So let's now go and create an event, a holiday event for the service technician that we've got on here called Billy Bob. So let's go and find Billy Bob as the resource. So that's the resource one there. Okay, as you can see, it's a resource, and we are going to scroll on down to where we've got open activities, and we're going to create a new event. So we're now in the new event screen. Before we actually go through and create the event, I think it's important, because we can see it on the same screen here, to give you an overview as what the difference between a user and a resource is. So when I was looking for the service technician called Billy Bob, I looked for his resource, and here you can see both. So the assigned to here is a user, and the related to is the resource, and his name's in both, but they are two different things. So I'll just explain what the difference is. So a user is someone who has a ServiceTracker license, who can log in and use a system, whereas a resource, which is over here, is a schedulable record within the system. A technician will be set up as both a user and a resource, and all the visits and events should be assigned to the technician's resource record, which will already be linked to their user account and will allow them to update and edit and complete the visits via the mobile. Resources could also be subcontractors, key equipment needing to be scheduled, rooms, pool cars, or even offices, etc. You can then manage the schedule within ServiceTracker without the need for updates in the form of visits, etc. So we're now going to start populating this. So normally when you go and create it, the assigned to will be the person who's creating it. So I'm logged in as Billy Bob user, but when we say go in and creating holidays and sickness, well, generally what we would do is we'd assign it to the manager. So it'd be assigned to the manager. They then can go through an approval process. We can create rules, so it goes through that whole process. So if you want those, give us a shout and we'll create them for you. This instance we haven't got the rules, and I'm not going to do anything with that, so I'm just going to leave it as the same there. Because we already were in the resource of Billy Bob, that's already been filled out, so we don't have to worry about that. We now select the subject, so we're going to click on the little drop down box here and find the subject. So we're going to be putting down that he's going to be on holiday, okay, and it's going to be an all-day event, so we're going to click on that, and the event will be today, so that's already been populated. If you wanted to make it a couple of hours, we could. I mean, we could put let's just say he starts at 9, so we'll do 9 till 5. So we're blocking out his day diary. So when we look at his calendar in a minute, we'll see that that appears on there. You then can add extra information if you want, so you can make it private if you wanted to. In this instance, at the moment, we're not. It's unable to tick that, and we're not going to, because we want to make this public that he's on holiday. You can then add other information. So if you want to put a location, you want to set them as out of the office, busy, or free. So we're going to put down that they're out of office. You could put a description. So we're just going to write here holiday record. I mean, if you wanted to select, I think we've got other under that list. I mean, we can change them, we can add more. You can then put more of a descriptive field in here, but it's better to have the subject, because then if you want to report in it, you can find all that information there. We can also then go and create the reoccurring series if we wanted to, and we can set reminders to appear, but we don't need to worry about any of that. We're not going to attach anything, and we don't need to check the spelling. So here we simply press save, and that will have created the event. So we've now got that as what's on his list. So if we go on to the activity history, so you'll see he's got a holiday. And let's go and have a look. If we go on up to the ServiceTracker calendar, so we'll click on the calendar, and you'll see it's already appeared there as holiday, and if we click on the swim lane as well, you'll see it's in there as holiday. So the aim and what we try and get everyone to do is that a technician's diary is completely full for the whole day. So if you wanted to look at utilization, you can see what they're doing, so we can start populating bits and pieces. Okay, so the last thing to look at now is actions. So we simply click on the actions button and we can click new. So here, this is an action that we want to set for the site. Let's go to outdoor adventure. Okay, and the action here, summary of the action is we want the tech to just check that the back door's closed. So okay, so we can also attach it to a visit by going and looking at the visits. So that will look and bring up the visits. So there's an open visit there, so we're going to assign it to that one. Okay, and if you want to assign it to an inspection item, we can assign it to an inspection item if there's something specific you wanted to look at on an inspection. And if you think it's a client action, so you want the client to do it, and it's going to appear in the client portal, we simply tick the button there and it'll be in the portal for them to action. So you can also set a date for completion. So if they haven't done it yet, we can leave it there, but date the action needs to be complete by. So in this instance, let's say it needs to be complete by a week's time, and we can set a priority, so it's just a medium priority, and we are going to assign it to it's the person the action needs to be assigned to. So Billy Bob. There you go, and we'll leave the action completion date. Status is open, and we'll let them do it, and then you simply press save. So that's now created our action. Okay, so we've got the action there. So if we now go back onto actions, you'll see it sat there. Editing the actions and updating them is very simple. You just click on the action, you go edit, and then you can change the information. You can change it to complete, you can set a completion date and time, and you can then save it again. And that's events, tasks and actions. Thank you for watching, and the next video we'd recommend you watch is creating client documents.